Namaste. My name is Kelly, and thank you for joining me today for our yoga practice. So you are going to need to have a block. If you don't have a block, grab a book. For this practice specifically, a novel size book will be appropriate, and don't worry about how thick or high it is. Just think that kind of, Hi everyone, welcome. Thank you for coming to your mat today, showing up for yourself for this practice. My name is Kelly, and I am delighted to be guiding you through this sequence today. And before we get started, I want you to grab a couple of items that you'll need to support your practice. Number one, you're going to need a yoga block. Alternately, if you don't have a yoga block, go grab a book. A novel size paperback will work best, so you could find that. And you're going to need either a yoga strap or a belt for your practice today. Okay, so today's focus is we're going to be embodying the energy of the goddess Kali, and you're going to hear a lot more about that in just a moment. And also, today is March 24th. It is a new moon, and it is a beautiful time to plant seeds of new intention, and I think that it's a really ripe time in our lives to really sit with that for a moment and go deep inside and get clarity on that which you wish to create or enhance in your life at this time. So I think that this practice is going to help you to become clear on that and really tune into your warrior energy. So to begin, I would love for you to lie on your back. You're going to have your block within arm's reach, but that's the only prop you're going to need to begin. And as you lie down, I would just love for you to start by hugging your knees to your chest. You can go there now. I'm going to stay seated for a moment. I'm going to talk you through for the introductory part of our practice while you are centering. So at the beginning, if you're doing this in the morning or you've been sitting all day and your hips are feeling tight, when you hug your knees toward your chest, let them still be a little bit wide. Your feet could come together, you could catch behind your thighs, hug the knees toward the armpits, or if it's comfortable, by all means, squeeze the knees in toward the chest. One option is not better than the other, so honor your body and feel out where you are at this moment. Just breathing naturally as you arrive and starting to feel your body anchor into the mat where your body's connected to the mat. So Kali is the goddess of transformation. She's known as the goddess of death and rebirth. And also, if you know any astrology, Pluto is regarded as the planet of death and rebirth. Its energy was super strong at the very beginning of 2020, and its theme is carrying out through the whole of 2020. And so that energy is really strong within us and in the collective. Kali slays the demons of the ego, the attributes of ignorance. She brings us face to face with the unconscious parts of ourselves that want to be transformed, the parts that we have rejected, feared, or ignored. The qualities of Kali: she restores equilibrium, but not only to the individual, but to the world as a whole, on the collective level. Kali is assertive and free. She speaks the truth. She has freedom of expression of all kinds. She's authentic. She can manage conflict. She's liberated. She destroys demonic tendencies. She recognizes true identity. She helps us with our creative expressions. When we think of the phrase, let whatever wants to come, come, let whatever wants to go, go, we can ask Kali to come in and to support us in that transformation of letting out whatever wants to come, come, letting whatever wants to go, go. Good. So if you need to shift your position a little bit, now I would suggest to you that you bring the soles of your feet together. Let the knees come wide, like you were coming toward a butterfly pose, but bound in this reclined position. You could bring your hands in closer to your ankles or your shins, or if it's available, you could wrap the hands around the outside edges of your feet. Just wiggle in, find a place where you can anchor down toward your mat. Draw your tailbone down toward the mat. Good. Feel yourself continuing to land. Soften into a couple more breaths here. Inhale here, exhale, release the soles of the feet to the floor. Squeeze the right knee in toward the chest, hugging behind the thigh or in front of the shin. Just a little gentle wiggle rock side to side, and then lifting the right leg up. Drawing the knee toward the armpit, bringing the hands to the shins, the ankles, or the outside edge of the right foot. Staying grounded through the left side. Breathing in and exhale. Inhale, gently release the foot from the hand or place the right foot on the floor. Draw the left knee toward the chest. Hug the knee in toward the chest. Fingers interlace behind the thigh or in front of the shin. A little wiggle rock side to side. Open and close through the left knee. Right side is anchored. Release the left shin. Bring the knee toward the armpit. Hands to shin, ankle, or left hand to outside edge of left foot. Breathing in and breathing out. Inhale the breath. Exhale your breath. One more inhale. Exhale, release. Lower the feet down to the floor. Take your legs long in front of you, or option to keep the knees bent, whatever supports your back body in the most optimal way for you this evening, this morning, this afternoon, whenever you're practicing. Bring your hands into a triangular shape with the index and thumbs touching, and place the thumbs just below the belly button, and the fingers point down toward the pubic bone. Breathing into the sacral center, the center of creativity in your body. And for a moment, let's invoke the energy of Kali into our being as we consider the question, what part of me is seeking healing, reconciliation, a voice, expression? What part of me is seeking healing, reconciliation, a voice, or expression? And let go of all of the ideas that the mind might have about how to action your intention. And we'll give ourselves permission to embody the wisdom, allowing it to come through as we spend these moments in our body and with our breath. Soften the space underneath your hands. Feel a full breath in and a long breath out. And before we shift, we'll set a collective intention for the healing of our planet at this time. Let illness be transformed to health and healing on every level. From our environment to our cultural norms that may not be useful any longer. The unhealthy habits of our modern lifestyle. And that communities, families, and individuals receive optimal health. Letting that go, slide your heels in toward your sit bones and bring your block into your hand. We're going to bring the right foot up off the floor, the left foot stays on the floor with the knee bent, and we're going to play with bringing the block onto the sole of your foot. Okay? If you're not using a block today, this is why you got your book, and you can try to place the book on the sole of your foot, squeezing the knee in toward the armpit and playing with keeping the block steady as possible. So maybe like spreading the toes, maybe shifting the ankle to one angle or another to provide more stabilization for your block. And then I want you to see if perhaps you could play with moving that foot a little bit in toward the left leg and then opening the foot and the leg a little bit away from the right. Good job. Bring the block back toward your chin and shift the block away from your body toward the end of your mat. These movements are not big. We're exploring and playing. Kali is about creativity and play and joy, and this is a great opening to transformation. It doesn't all have to be hard and messy, and though that's part of it, we need to balance that with experimentation and joy and ease. Good. Okay, now see if you can straighten that leg up to the sky. If the block falls off, big deal. Pick it up, put it back on, try it again. Good. And maybe a little micro movement. So this time, rather than swinging the leg from one side to another, can you rotate through the hip and dial the leg toward the inside of your mat and dial the leg toward the outside of your mat, just like your foot is swiveling like the arm of a clock, a pendulum. Good. Okay. Bend the knee. Can you bring the block back down without dropping it? Release the block into your hand. Let that left leg come down. Lift both of the legs and give everything a little shake. Shake it up. Let it go. Both feet back onto your mat. Good. Right foot stays planted. Lift the left foot and bring your block onto the sole of the left foot. Good. Both sides, either side are going to feel a little bit different. So give yourself permission to experiment, explore, drop the block, whatever it takes. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen here. Okay, not getting too attached. Find a point of stability. Squeeze the leg toward the chest. Flexion through the ankle as much as needed. Good, maybe a little movement. Bring the block outside the left leg, back towards center, maybe toward the right. Good. Play with any kind of movement here for a little while.
Take the attitude of experimentation, smile, give yourself permission to explore something new, something challenging. Good, something outside of your comfort zone. Okay, could you straighten the leg up toward the sky and then swivel the big toe in toward the right side of your mat, and then swivel the pinky toe over to the left side of your mat. Good, and notice how you're getting a rotation through the whole leg through this movement. Good, one or two more. Good, start to bend the knee, adjusting the foot on the way down, moving slowly with control. Squeeze the knee toward the chest. Bring your right hand to the block. Remove the block. Lift both legs up. Give everything a little wiggle, a little shake. Let that all go. Good. Bring your hands behind your thighs. Kick your feet up and roll forward and back on the spine several times. If this doesn't work for you, no problem. Come up to seated in whatever way feels right for you. If you're rolling, come on up through your seat. Good, and come into a seated easy pose. If you want to sit up onto your block, a blanket or a pillow, that is a wonderful option. We want to elevate the hips a little bit higher than the knees. Okay, so as we arrive here, we're going to bring the hands together at heart center. Good, and then you're going to interlace all fingers except the index. So the three last fingers and the thumbs are crossed over, and this is Kali Mudra, okay? I'm gonna move my candle here. We're gonna do a movement that really reminds me of Kundalini, moving this Kali mantra up and down. And as we move the arms up, we're saying Sat. And as we move the arms down, we're saying Nam. Sat, S-A-T, Nam, N-A-M. Sat means truth. Nam means name. Okay, so truth is my name. If you're comfortable, you could say Sat Nam out loud. Otherwise, you can say Sat Nam inside. Just the repetition of the mantra is what's important, and we'll go for a moment or a little bit longer here. So inhaling, reaching up, Sat, exhale, Nam. If the pace can move a little bit faster, then you can take whatever pace is good in your body, but please honor the experience through the body today. If you're working with a shoulder injury, you could make this a lot smaller. Maybe raising the arms as high as the shoulders. Modify to suit your body today. Sat, Nam, 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 Sat, Nam. Eyes closed. Gaze at the center of the forehead. Sat, Nam, 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 Sat, Nam. Good. As you continue visualizing, holding the sword of Kali, shedding through all layers of illusion, holding you back. Releasing anything from your being, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, that pulls you away from your truth. Sat, Nam, Sat, Nam, Sat, Nam, Sat, Nam, Sat, Nam, Sat,
nam, sat, nam, sat, nam, sat, nam. 3 more. Sat, nam, sat, nam, sat, nam. And release. Bring the hands to the sides. Shake the fingers, the hands and the wrists. Add the forearms, the upper arms, the shoulders. Let everything go. Bring that into a little twist. Moving gently through the spine, rotating side to side. And pause in a tall, long seat. Let the shoulders lengthen from the ears. Inhale the breath. Pause at the top. Exhale the breath. Pause at the bottom. Inhale the breath. Pause at the top. Exhale the breath. Pause at the bottom. 1 more in-breath. Pause at the top. 1 more out-breath. Pause at the bottom. Breathe naturally for 3 cycles of breath. Good. Blink open the eyes. Start to shift from a seated position to a kneeling position. So as always, you can take the option of placing a blanket underneath the knees if that's needed. And we're going to come back into toe tingles. So unleashing your pinky toe and tucking all 10 toes on your mat. Everybody will be in a different position here. So some of you might be leaning forward and getting a lot of stimulation over the soles of the feet. Others might be able to sit back further. So find the optimal place for you to land. And today, a little bit of a reprieve because we're going to do lion's breath while we're here. So we'll be coming forward a little bit with each cycle of breath. And if you want to take the edge off of the toes and shift your weight forward, by all means, take that option. I'll show both options. Good. So a nice inhale through the nose. As you exhale, you're going to stick out your tongue, lean forward, and take a nice, long, loud, breathy exhale through the mouth, sticking the tongue out. Several more times. Alternately, stay up, keeping your weight back toward your heels. One more breath. Shift your weight forward onto your hands. Lift your toes. If possible, resist the urge to tap the tops of the feet down and let the blood flow come back in naturally for a moment. Full rib cage breath here, breathing in 360 degrees around the ribs. Exhale, let the rib cage come back in. Good, breathe naturally, tap the tops of your feet onto your mat. Good. Okay, and then from here, coming back onto your toes, feet hips distance or maybe a little bit wider apart, and then pushing into your fingertips and sitting back toward a squat. And moving forward and back through those 2 movements a few times. Good, the heels can stay lifted. They don't need to come down at this point. Notice how this feels in your body. Good. You could play with maybe lifting one hand off and just using the support of the other hand to go through this movement. Or if you want to try the control of coming up without the hands, maybe bringing one knee up at a time, making the movement as smooth as possible is challenging. Okay. Any variation is completely appropriate here. Whatever you need in your body today. Good. All right, shifting forward. Let's bring the hands forward, spread the fingers wide, dig the fingers into the mat, lift the knees up, shift the hips up and back, press down into your hands, walk the feet, bend the knees. Good, and then walk your hands back towards your feet, trying to see if you can limit the amount of sway through the hips. And just keeping the hips relatively stationary. Coming to a forward bend. Crown of head hanging to the floor. Neck lengthening. Ears drifting. Spine receiving nourishment from this opening through the back body. As much bend in the knees as needed. Feel the connection of your soles of the feet to the mat. Start to straighten your knees and lift the torso as the hips start to stack onto the legs. The low back and the mid back start to straighten. The chin and arms are still heavy. The upper back lifts, the shoulders open. Chin lifts, the crown of the head lifts. Inhale, rise, reach, extend the arms up. See if it's possible to shift your weight into your toes and lift your heels. And as the hands lower down to the sides, the heels lower down to the floor. Beautiful. Inhale, rise, reach, extend the arms up, lifting onto the toes, heels rise. And exhale, slowly lowering down as the heels land. Curl the chin in, round through the upper back, the mid back, the low back. Crease the hips, fold forward, hang over the legs. Walk the hands forward in front of you, hips as stationary as possible. Keep the neck in a neutral alignment as possible. And walk forward into a plank, either on the toes or on the knees. Push the hands down into your mat and wrap your shoulders around the sides of your rib cage. Roll the inner thighs up and back. Press to the back of the room through the heels. Long, strong line through the body. Push into both hands, lift the hips. Rise up to downward facing dog. Relaxed, long neck. Bend the knees. Handprint the hands back toward the feet. Walk the hands in. Incrementally roll up through your spine. Rise to standing. Reach the arms to the sides and overhead as the heels lift off of the floor and you come onto your toes. Exhale. Slowly lower the heels down, tuck the chin, round the upper back, the mid back, the lower back. Hinge and hang over the legs, heavy through the arms, neck and head. Plant the hands, step the hands forward one at a time, rolling forward to your plank, shoulders over wrists. Push the arms long into your mat. Crown of the head, extending to the front of the mat. Tailbone stretching to the back of the mat. Super strong and lean through the entire body. Breathe in, feel your strength. Exhale, push through your hands, lengthen your arms,
Lift the hips to downward facing dog. Breathe in here. Breathe out. Push the hands into the mat one at a time. Walk them back toward your feet. Bend the knees into your forward bend. Let the spine be long. Inhale, incrementally roll the spine, stacking the vertebrae up to standing. Rise and reach the arms overhead. Lift the heels. Come onto the toes. Feel your balance. Feel your strength here. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale. Exhale. Slowly. Release the arms down. Release the heels down. Rise, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, fold over the legs. Walk the hands forward to downward facing. And 3 breaths here in downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Plant the left foot. Inhale, extend the right leg up to the sky. Squeeze the knee toward the chest, around the spine. Step the right foot forward between the hands. Bring the right hand to the inside edge of the right foot. Spin the left heel down. Bend strongly into the front knee. Reach and extend the left fingers to the front of your mat. Push through the front heel. Rise up to warrior 2. Notice a tendency of the shoulders to move forward and then bring them back, aligning them over your hips. The front knee bent, the back leg grounded. Gaze over the front middle fingers. Reach long through the arms, extending, expressing, opening here. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Let the fire in the legs be a metaphor of the fire of transformation happening through the invocation of the energy of the goddess Kali. Let whatever wants to come, come. Let whatever wants to go, go. Inhale here. Exhale, flip the front palm, reach forward, breathe in. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Reach and extend through the top arm. Breathe in. Exhale, spiral the hands back to warrior 2. Inhale here. Exhale here. Inhale. Exhale, lower the hands to frame the front foot. Start to walk the hands toward the long edge of your mat, turning the front toes toward the long edge of your mat. Walk your hands toward the left, bending the left knee, and then back over to the right, straightening the left leg, bending the right knee. Good. So shifting from side to side, being mindful of what's available and open through the hips. Everybody will have a different level of depth here. Some can bring their hips almost the whole way down to the floor. That's not me right now, probably not in this lifetime. I've accepted that finally. Good. Okay, and then walking your hands to the left foot, preparing your warrior 2 stance on this side. Left hand inside the left foot. Inhale, reach and extend forward through the right hand, push strongly through the left leg, and spiral up to your warrior 2. Align your shoulders over your hips. Grow your arms from your heart. Express your authentic self. Inhale the breath. Exhale the breath. Breathe in and breathe out. Feel the fire of transformation ignite through the legs, bringing that heat up into the core of the body. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale here. Exhale here. Open the front palm. Reach and extend forward. Arm come to the sky. Back hand connects to the back leg. Strong bend in the front knee. Strong back leg. Rise, reach, extend from the hip to the fingertips. Opening here. Good. Inhale. Exhale, spiral the arms back to warrior two. Your strongest warrior two yet. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath in here. Exhale, spiral the hands to frame the front foot. Walk the hands forward, side to side. Walking, lengthening, flowing, floating, breathing, releasing, receiving, letting whatever wants to come, come, letting whatever wants to go, go. Good. Bring the hands through to the center of your mat. Heel toe your feet a little bit closer together. The toes extend out to the side corners of your mat. Bring your hands to your hips and slowly with a long spine rise up to standing. Okay, we're going to experiment with shifting our weight into our toes and lifting our heels. So take a nice bend in your knees like you're sitting down into a goddess squat. Good. And then maybe for a moment just leave the hands right there on your hips and play with lifting the heels up and lowering the heels down. Okay. So the feet are in a different position than we're normally used to them in when we're coming into a squat with the heels lifted or lowered. So I want you to pay attention to see if you can stabilize equally through the big toe mounds and the pinky toe mounds and activate the inner ankle and the outer ankle equally to give yourself lots of stability here. Let it be playful. I kind of like it when I lose my balance because it just reminds me to loosen up, lighten up, soften the eyebrows, like let that stuff go. Good, lower it down, lift up, lower down. Okay, so do that one more time, and while you're there, our next movement will involve another Kali breath, Kali sword breath. So the heels could stay lifted throughout this movement if you're feeling stable. Otherwise, the heels could be down. And if you need a little break before we go into that, feel free to straighten your legs or shake things out. So we're going to be into the goddess squat again. This time the palms of the hands are going to come together. And we start with the fingertips pressing down toward the floor. We're going to inhale and raise the arms up with the palms together. And then we're going to inhale again, open the arms, kind of like breath of joy. Inhale one more time, arms reach up and overhead. Exhale, this is Kali's sword, cutting through illusion, cutting through ego, bring us to our truth. Okay, are you ready? Make your way back down into your goddess squat. You want your toes pointing to the front corners of your mat. Really anchor into the outer thighs, engage the glutes, feel the tailbone drop. Be strong here, you got this. Palms of the hands together. Big breath in. Continue. 3 more. Push to standing. Heel, toe, the feet underneath the hips toward mountain pose. Let the arms dangle down by your sides. Shake the wrists and hands. Shake the arms. Bounce the shoulders. Eyes open or closed. Let the arms come a little bit wider. The knees are soft. Twisting. Just feel your flow. Shake a leg. Shake the other leg. Back to mountain. Good. Palms open. Extend through the fingers. Stabilize from the hips to the crown. Good. Lift the heels. Stay on the toes. Stabilize here. Shift your hands to your heart. Bend your knees. Shift your hips behind you. Lengthen the tail as though you were coming into chair pose, but with your heels lifted. Keep your gaze steady ahead of you. Inhale. Exhale, release the hands. Reach the arms back behind you. Squeeze the shoulder blades together on your back. Sit down. Lengthen the spine. Down through the tailbone. Feel the spinal muscles connect. Reach the arms forward. Straighten the legs. Arms overhead, heels are still lifted. Exhale, palms together. Lower the hands. Lower the heels. Breathe in through the nose. Breathe out through the nose. Breathe in through the nose. Breathe out through the nose. Breathe in through the nose. Breathe out through the nose. Inhale, rise, reach, extend. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, reach, extend the arms up. Shift your weight into one foot, doesn't matter which one. Come up onto the toes of the other foot. Start to bend into the standing leg, knee, stabilizing through the foot. Cross the ankle over the knee. Open the knee outside of the body. Bring your hands to your heart. Okay. The knees bending slightly as though we're sitting back into our chair again. And before we go any further, maybe play with shifting your weight forward toward your toes. Maybe slightly lifting your heel. Maybe not. You do you. Shifting the weight forward. Anchor onto the toe mounds. Lift the heel. Good. Set the heel back down. Sitting back and down as though you're moving into chair. Long spine. Slightly tuck the tail. Flex the foot that's on top of the standing leg. Offer the outer thigh toward the floor. Push down through the standing leg. Coming tall and straight, arms reach up and wide. Balancing knee lifts to the chest, opens to the side, back through center. Release the leg down. Lower your arms down. Inhale, rise, reach, extend. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back.
Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise tall. Reach the arms wide and up. Keep the arms lifted. Shift your weight into your other foot. Cross the leg, ankle, over knee. Start to bend the standing leg knee. Shifting the weight behind you. Finding a single point for a steady gaze. Stabilize equally. Push the big toe mound down into your mat and the pinky toe mound. Maybe bring the hands to the heart. Maybe before we sit too deep, as the weight shifts forward to the front of the foot, play with lifting the heel off of the mat and lowering it down. Repeat. Good. An attitude of experimentation, creativity, and the joy of moving your body. Sitting back and down, top foot flexed, hip opening externally, drawing everything, collecting your energy in your midline. Good. Push strong through the standing leg. Rise up. Reach and extend the arms overhead. Squeeze the knee up toward the chest. Open the hip. Bring the knee away from the midline. Close the hip. Bring the knee back to center. Ground the foot back down to the floor. Fold over the legs. Plant the hands. Step back to downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lower down onto your knees. Bring your wrists under your shoulders. Lengthen your crown to the front of the mat, the tail to the back of the mat. And then soften, lift the tail, soften the tummy, pull the heart forward, drag the hands back, gaze up, and reverse. Tuck the tail, round the low, mid, upper back, chin to chest. And unravel. Initiate the movement from the base of the spine. Allow the ripple wave to pour forward. Return to a neutral spine. Bring the big toes together to touch. Knees together or apart if that makes your child's pose more accessible. Soften the abdomen over between the legs. Lower the forehead to your block, a blanket or the floor. Bend your elbows. Connect the palms of your hands. Bring your thumbs to the nape of your neck. Press the elbows down into your mat. Broaden the upper back. Release. And bring your hands forward. Walk the hands gently to the left. Push the right hand into your mat and pull the hand back toward your ear, just pressing and pulling, and the left hand pushes away. So right hand pushing into the floor as though you were going to
pull the right arm down, and then the left arm is pressing into the floor and pushing the floor away. Soften. Walk back through center, through the torso and the arms, and then to the right. Push the left hand down into the floor. And then as though you were going to pull the hand towards your ear, right hand pushes into the floor and then pushes away from your body. I have to thank Sherry Yonker for this movement. She taught it in her online class that I did this morning, and it just felt so lovely. I needed to share it with you all immediately. Settling back into center for 2 more breaths. Pushing your hands into the mat, rising up through hands and knees, swinging the feet to one side, lowering onto your seat, bending your knees, finding any props that you're going to need for your Shavasana, which will be happening in a moment. Just have them handy so they'll be there for you. Bring your hands in behind your knees, lift the chest tall and the spine long. Draw the shoulders toward each other on your back. Lift your heels, come onto your toes, and then maybe start to lift the toes up off of your mat, just rocking to the place between your sit bones and your sacrum. Good, pause here. Option to lift the shins parallel to the floor. Or if a full leg extension is in your practice, you could take that now for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend one knee at a time, lowering the toes back down to your mat. Good. Plant the feet, reach the arms forward, long spine, strong abdomen, and slowly roll back, 1 vertebra at a time, lowering the spine onto your mat with as much control as possible. Good. Okay, find a position where the knees can be bent. If you have a block, bring it between your thighs. If you don't, just ignore that option. You can go without. Good. And we're going to lengthen the spine long so the tailbone is tucked and lifted while the low back is connected to the mat. So draw the abdomen down toward the spine. Feel the low back connect, open the arms. Lift the shins parallel to the floor. If you have the block, you're going to squeeze the shins into the block, okay? And then we're going to lower the legs to the left slightly, letting the low abdomen control the movement. Back through center, lower the knees to the right slightly. So we want this to be a really stabilized movement. We're focusing more on this abdominal strength in between the hip points down toward the pubic bone. Then we are concerned about coming into like a full twist. We'll do that in a moment. Good. So stabilizing the upper back and shoulders through the arms and the upper back body. And just a slight rotation through the hips while working into those deep core muscles. One more time in each direction. The toes pointed, the legs squeezing into your block. Good. Release the toes down, let the block go. Lift the hips, shift them slightly to the right. Knees hug toward chest and lower to the left. If twisted roots is in your practice, you could take that option. Starting with the legs back up through center, crossing right leg over left, lowering both legs to the left. Open the arms wide. Gaze to the ceiling, toward the bent knee, or away from the bent knee. Let the breath return to its natural pace. Good. Inhale here. Stay for the out breath. Inhale. Find that core connection as you bring your legs back up through center. If the legs are crossed, uncross the legs. Neutralize the pelvis. Bring the hands to the front hip points. Lift the tail up. Connect the low back to your mat. And reverse that. Untuck the tail. Feel the back of the pelvis massage into your mat and lift the low back. Repeat a couple more times. Good. Lift the hips, shift them slightly to the left, 2 or 3 centimeters. Either hug knees to chest and lower both knees to the right, stacking the knees, or cross the left leg over the right leg and lower both legs to the right. Arms open wide. Breathe naturally. If you're bracing, uncross the legs, stack the knees, or maybe bring a blanket or a block between the knees or under the bottom knee. A few more breaths here. Engage through the core, lift the knees back through center, neutralize the spine, feet wider than hips, windshield wiper the knees gently side to side. Don't worry about your deepest range of motion, let this be restorative and nourishing. Big inhale through the nose and sigh your out breath. 2 more times like that. Knees through center. Make your way to your final relaxation position, Shavasana. You could extend the legs. You could find constructive rest pose with the feet wide, knees connect to each other. I'll give you a moment here to soften in. Breathing in, calming, quieting energy. And breathing out whatever wants to go. We began with the question, what part of you is seeking healing, reconciliation, a voice, or expression? In other words, what aspect of yourself can Kali, her energy, support in your transformation? Allow any bits of wisdom to percolate forward to the surface.
Breathing in, calming, quieting energy. Breathing out whatever wants to go. Breathing in, calming, quieting energy. Breathing out whatever wants to go. Feeling your breath here. Beginning to deepen your breath. Bring small movements back into your body. With gentleness and sustaining your inner gaze, slowly rise up into a seated position as you're ready. If you have longer to rest in Shavasana, then by all means, stay here. Sally Kempton asks us to not confuse being yogic with being nice. And though yoga is a beautiful practice to cultivate ease and peace, kindness and equanimity into our lives, which are all clearly very necessary for the world that we live in, for living in our true highest expression of ourselves, the yogic path also brings out our strength and channels our wildness. And these aspects of our energy are supported by the energy of Kali, that fierce goddess of transformation. I invite you to look her picture up today, sometime when you're browsing the internet. And I'm not going to tell you anything about what this goddess looks like or the symbolism that she carries in her image. But I invite you to look at it and just spend a few moments interpreting what intuitively you sense that each aspect of her physical representation might illuminate. And so I thank you so much for practicing with me today. And please, if you're watching this on March 24th or anytime in the next couple of weeks in this new moon energy, crystallize your intention for the coming weeks and months and write it down, affirm it to yourself, and keep on smiling and being you, showing up and being the most present, authentic source of the divine that you can find within. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste.